What it do, guys? Manjoume here, and this is my adventure deck profile Thai version. First off, for the Digi Eggs, I'm running 4 copies of the ST20 Koromon. It's inheritable when it has an adventure trait. You get plus 1000 DP. Now, this is the less useful of the two, but there's a reason why I'm running it in this deck, and you'll see this pretty soon. Then, for the level 3s, we have 4 copies of ST20 Agumon. He's like the Gabumon in that if your opponent has a Digimon with 1000 DP or more, or your tamers have 3 or more colors, he can go into a War Greymon for evolution cost of 4. He can Warp Digivolve, and his inheritable gives Reboot. Reboot's really strong. I like that. And we also have 4 copies of ST20 Biomon. I love searchers. You dig into the deck, you can grab up to 2 cards. Super good. Then we're running 2 copies of ST21 Palmon. Trash 1, draw 2. That's really good, but sometimes you don't have quite the pieces, or you don't want to give up certain pieces. And in this deck, we don't have as many ways to, or I think if any, to get them back. Whereas in the Adventure Mat deck that we had, it was a lot easier to recycle. So since we don't have the ability to recycle as much, we don't want to run too many discarding effects. Then to round it out, we have 1 copy ST20 Tentomon and 1 copy of ST21 Gomamon, which these 2 are disruptive to your opponents and are within the archetype. For the level 4s, we're running 3 copies of ST21 Togemon, who on play when digivolving, if your tamers with the adventure trait have 3 or more colors, it can digivolve into a Digimon with the adventure trait without paying the cost, so it can just go into a level 5. Then another way to help get out said tamers is 2 copies of ST20 Kabuterimon. When digivolving, if you have 1 or fewer tamers, you may play 1 tamer with the adventure trait from your hand without paying the cost. This is going to be really good for the memory setter especially, but hey, no matter what, getting more tamers out there is going to benefit you in the long run. Then, because it's within the archetype, and I do like the card, 2 copies of BT21 Greymon. On play when digivolving, if you have Tai Kamiya, tamer with the adventure trait, give one of your opponent's Digimon start a main. It can attack, or it has to attack, rather. So you're going to force your opponent to hit either your security or try to hit one of your Digimon, and then we'll see what else we have to kind of supplement that effect. And Inheritable Reboot is, again, really good. Now, the fun tech that I have in this deck is that I have 2 copies of BT17 Greymon. Now, this thing can digivolve off of any Agumon for a cost of 2, which we definitely are running, but it also digivolves off of red, blue, yellow, and green, which of course our rookies are green, blue, red, and then Agumon. It doesn't matter because it's an Agumon, so that's super cool. Now, when digivolving, if your Digimon's name is Koromon, this Digimon gets plus 3k. Then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as this Digimon. All turns, this Digimon gains all names of level 3 or lower cards in its Digivolution. If you go through the more natural line, Koromon, Agumon, Greymon, he only has 8k with his on Digivolving effect. However, if you swap that out for, say, and your probably optimal is probably going to be Biomon. We are running 4 of them. It now has 5, 8 with its on Digivolving, plus Biomon, it gets plus another 2. So it can delete something with 10k DP. Then later, we'll see something that I'll even be able to do even more than that. It can even go down and take down a level 6 mega level Digimon with just this champion. Now, setup for this is very specific, and you won't always be able to hit it. And for me, I always am so unlucky, and he's always in security, and that kind of sucks. But I suppose if you want to, you could swap out these 2 Greymon for more of him, or just swap him out entirely for more of these. It really depends on how you want to play the deck. I like the surprise and the kind of fun gimmick of going into this guy. And then since he is a Koromon, if you wanted to do crazy Digivolution stuff, you could go into this and then keep playing it up, or do whatever you want. But it's really fun. Alternatively, if you use Palmon, it's only 1k more rather than 2k. So he would go up to like 9,000, which again, 8,000, 9,000, you're taking out a level 5 with that, and that's pretty neat. And if it's an ace, you get the overflow. On deletion, you may play a tamer with Tai or Kairi in its name from your hand without paying the cost, or hatch in your breeding area, which hatching also helps you move things quicker. And then playing the tamer, there is one in particular that we would rather play, but being able to play anything for free is always going to be nice. For level 5s, we're playing one copy BT21 Rare Garurumon. On play when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Then for every 2 different color tamers that you have, you can add up to 1 to the maximum. So he can go and delete up to another level 5. So that's pretty cool. Then we have 2 copies of BT21 Skull Greymon. On play when Digivolving, one of your Digimon gains Raid and Retaliation, meaning it can fight the strongest thing your opponent has, but when it itself dies, your opponent also dies. So you're basically just ramming into your opponent's biggest thing and just kind of one for one, both deleted. On deletion, you may play one adventure trait card with a play cost of 4 or less from your trash without paying the cost. So this is one of the few ways we can recycle some stuff from the trash. Not too much in this deck, but when it happens, it definitely comes in handy. Then we have 3 copies of BT21 Metal Greymon. On play when Digivolving to one of your opponent's Digimon, de-Digivolve 1 for every 2 of your tamer's colors. So you have 2 pairs. That means you can de-Digivolve your opponent's Digimon twice. Now the problem with this is I do believe it still only targets 1 Digimon. So if there's 2 like level 5s and they both have Digivolutions, you can't do 1-to-1. You would have to basically just hit the 1 and it would just stop until it hit the last one. But still, de-Digivolving effects are my favorite and very strong in the game. And finally, we have 2 copies of EX9's Metal Greymon Alterius mode. On play when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent Digimon with 8k or less. Then the alternative effect, we don't really even, I think, get to use it, where when any of your Digimon or tamers with Garurumon or Tai in their names are played, or any of your Digimon digivolve into something with Garurumon in its name, this Digimon may digivolve into a card with Greymon in its name without paying the cost. So in this deck, it's kind of when you get this rare Garurumon out or you play the mat, you don't really get to see that effect that often. The fact that Alterius mode can digivolve off of Metal Greymon is really good because once you get his de-digivolve effect, he's kind of just sitting there. He's not as fun to use. Get this guy on top, yeah, we're playing. And the fun thing about this is, of course, since they're all adventure, all of our adventure Digimon can go into it. The only problem is this guy is not adventure. He's just a dinosaur. But Skull Greymon can go off of a level 4 Greymon, no problem, so he can always digivolve into him. Then Metal Greymon, same deal, level 4 Greymon with adventure trait, he can go off of him. And level 4 Greymon, same with Alterius mode. The only one this Greymon cannot go into is Rare Garurumon. That's why it's kind of a one-off, because I want to be able to support my champions and go into some bigger stuff. And just the fact that with this deck, you can play some stuff either for free or reduced cost, or digivolve off of like a Togemon for free. For the level 6, I'm running 4 copies of ST20 War Greymon Ace. On play when digivolving until your opponent's turn ends for every 2 colors of tamers you have. Their Digimon effects don't affect one of your Digimon, so you make them immune to some stuff, which can really come in handy because of de-digivolving effects or deletion effects. Those can really hurt you, but this will help protect them. Then when attacking and when digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest TP, so you're getting rid of their stuff and hopefully also hitting security. Then, at least for now, we're only running one more level 6, and that is a promo War Greymon. This can go off of a Metal Greymon or an Adventure Trait Digimon, or a level 5 Red, which we definitely have, but we also have the alternate routes to get it out. +1 security, Blocker. We don't have too many with Blocker. He's probably the only one with a built-in blocker ability. When digivolving, delete one of your opponent Digimon with as much or less DP as this Digimon. All turns, this Digimon gets +1000 for each color, Digimon, and Tamer you have. And because of the Tamers, and you have so many different dual color ones, he goes up really, really high. Now, it kind of sucks that he only deletes 1. If it was delete Digimon up to the DP that this guy has, he would probably wipe the board by himself. And for now, we have just one level 7, and that is Agumon Bond of Bravery. On play when digivolving, delete up to this Digimon's DP total worth of your opponent's Digimon. So 14k, 1, 1, 5, like basically wipe their board. When attacking once per turn, if you have a tamer, trash your opponent's top security. So this is definitely more aggressive than the other deck where it kind of went to pause or stun your opponent. This one just keeps hitting them. For the tamers, the difference between this one and the last deck we looked at is that this one's running 2 copies of BT21 Tai Kamiya. It's a memory setter. When one of your Digimon attacks, suspend it, draw 1. So that helps get you more cards into your hand because there aren't as many draw effects as the other deck had. Once per turn, you may play 1 adventure or hero trait card with a play cost of 2 or less from your hand without paying the cost. For each of your tamer's colors, add 1 to this effect's play cost maximum, then return this tamer to the bottom of the deck. So if you're going for that play, either make sure that you have another one lined up or that you're maybe swinging for game, because losing your memory setter really sucks. For the rest of the tamers, we're just running 2 of each. So 2 of the ST20 Tai and Izzy, which is another Tai card. Then we have 2 of the ST21 Matt and TK. Then 2 copies of ST20 Sora and Kairi, which is another Kairi. So the Greymon allowing you to play a Tai or Kairi. So we have Tai, Kairi. So it can actually play out these tamers. So it's only leaving Matt and TK out, which is good because you're able to have multiple targets to be able to use this with. And finally, we have 2 copies of ST20 Joe and Mimi. Finally, we have the options, which, since this is very much archetypal and I am not as concerned about not drawing into those Greymons, I'm running 4 copies of ST21 Believe in Our Friendship. So it allows you to search into your deck, and then the delay is just to give you the memory, and I really enjoy that. Sometimes that memory increase is something that is a game maker or breaker. Then finally, we have another copy of Jenai's House. Just like the other deck, this thing is really good because it goes to your bottom security, meaning it basically stays for the entirety of the game, whereas Island of Adventure goes to the top security and your opponent can just hit it next turn, no problem. Now, what I really like about this is because it gives your level 3 or higher Digimon plus 3k, it doesn't say they have to be adventure traits. Meaning, if I have Koromon and I have Digivolved it into Biomon, and then I Digivolve this into Greymon, this Greymon on its Digivolution gets 3k. So you'll go from 5 to 8 plus 2, 10, and then another 3. So 13k. That can definitely take out a mega level Digimon. In fact, it can take out up to maybe not level 7, but pretty close to it. So that is super powerful. Well, guys, that's it for my adventure deck Tai version. What'd you think? Do you have one? How's yours different from mine? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see the Tai adventure deck face off against the Matt adventure deck, let me know in the comments below as well. If you want to stay up to date with my videos and live streams on both YouTube and Twitch, check out links in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe, and consider joining. That's all for now, guys. Manjoume out.